The CBC receives $1.5 billion from the Canadian taxpayer every year. It's recently been discovered they have been intentionally hiring foreign workers. We are being sold out by state propaganda in every different sector. Our nation has been sold out for the state in ways you can't imagine. If you're interested in joining my movement, Saturday, September 13th, it's going to be our first rally, Take Canada Back. Hit the join button. You'll get exclusive content and help mold this movement to take our country back. So the CBC, $1.5 billion they receive every single year in Canadian taxpayer money. Anybody who follows the CBC closely knows it is absolutely state propaganda. It is woke garbage. You go on, look for any straight news. You look for any stories on Carney's many conflicts of interest with Brookfield. Any stories about the fact that 291,000 asylum claimants, up 28,000% over the past decade. You look at the immigration numbers, the housing crisis, the healthcare crisis. You'll see almost nothing critical of the Liberal Party. They just got rid of a reporter, Travis Donraj, one of the very few CBC reporters who is willing to say anything critical of Liberals. He spoke extensively about how if you go outside the party apparatus, if you're critical of left-wingers, you essentially cannot work at that network. They receive $1.5 billion a year from the taxpayer to spout state propaganda, and it's time. Enough is enough. Recent story came out that the CBC has specifically been hiring immigrants rather than Canadian citizens. This at the same time that unemployment is climbing. The middle and lower class are being decimated. GDP per capita, which is in all likelihood the best measure of how your average Canadian is doing, has been on a downward trajectory since Justin Trudeau was elected in 2015. Our housing market, due to immigration largely, is an absolute disaster. You look at a chart of Canadian housing, whether it be rental or ownership, from 2015, it's just a straight arrow upwards. Fantastic for Mark Carney and his buddies at Brookfield, who own $37 billion of real estate assets in Canada. Fantastic for Justin Trudeau and his insider buddies. For the average middle or lower class Canadian, you are being sold out by a woke group of people who feel empathy towards absolutely everybody except for middle class Canadians, middle and lower class Canadians. It seems that in their estimation, that's the only group that are not worthy of receiving empathy from the state. Now, the CBC, a huge report just came out. They have crying rooms. I kid you not. The vast majority of CBC offices have so-called crying rooms. Does this sound like a professional work environment? They've been paying out massive bonuses. They spout propaganda. They fire any conservative commentators. They're now intentionally hiring immigrants over Canadian-born citizens. I have some nasty personal experiences with them, but how can we possibly justify, when we have 2 million Canadians using food banks a year, $1.5 billion with a B, in taxpayer dollars going to the CBC? It's an absolute joke. I bet you anything, if you compare the CBC to state propaganda, Mao's China, Stalin's USSR, it's not far off. It's such junk, I can't even look at it anymore. It's shocking that we fund it to the tune that we do. You look at any criticism on immigration, it does not even exist. You'd never know that 75% of Canadians were opposed to more mass immigration if you checked out the CBC. You would absolutely never know. You would never know that there were 291,000 asylum claimants in the year 2024 alone, 28,000% increase over a decade before. We've allowed 7 million people in the last decade. And this year, over another million will be coming in. And Mark Carney cannot even hit the massive targets he set. The Canadian government Q1 released numbers, and they're letting in more people than even the huge numbers that they had said they were going to let in. This government BS's us at every corner. At the end of the day, Carney is a tool of the WF Davos, where, funny enough, for much of his career, he made massive speaking fees there. WF and Davos, if you read this Century Initiative, their goal is to have 100 million people in Canada by the year 2100. We have the second biggest landmass in the world. We have incredible natural resources, incredible people, Vimy Ridge, World War I, World War II, incredible warriors fighting for Canada. We have a history to be proud of, but they want us to be ashamed of who we are. They want to turn us into a post-national state, as Justin Trudeau stated in the year 2017, he stated. And they want to flood the zone with immigrants that we can't handle. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the hospitals. We don't have the social structure in place, and that's due to the Liberal government. They want to destroy our culture, and they want to make you ashamed, because that way they have a docile, sit on their thumbs populace that will just sit down while they tell them, oh, you're not allowed to go into the forest in Nova Scotia for a period of time. It's truly disgusting. It's truly disgusting. We need independent media in Canada that's willing to actually report on what's going on in the streets, because Canadians who have lived here for the entirety of their lives know exactly how much this country has changed, how extreme it has been. But you won't get absolutely any reporting on it from the CBC, CTV, any of the state-funded media. It's truly disgusting that they're throwing tax dollars away here, $22 billion away in Ukraine, and we don't even get an invite to the most important summit, while countries that have not contributed 5% of what Canada has gotten invites. Our country is our government, not our country. We have a great country, but our government is a goddamn national embarrassment, and it's time Canadians stood up and said enough is enough. I'm hosting a Take Canada Back rally Saturday, September 13th, noon, Parliament Hill, focused on sovereignty and free speech, the two pillars of Western civilization. That, of course, is what they're going directly after, directly what they're attacking. Saturday, September 13th, noon, Parliament Hill. Reach out. Let me know if you're interested in attending. If you're watching on TikTok, please make sure you're watching on YouTube, because the Canadian government does not like dissidents. So make sure you're following me on YouTube as well. Join, become a member, join our movement. Patriotic Canadians are going to take this country back.